Fed Realty. It's such a long name. But I'm a realtor by trade, and I always try to, on Mondays, give you some information about owning a home. And we've talked about many different subjects, but today is my friend Aaron Bays, and he is going to talk about kind of emergency preparedness. We've heard a lot about what's happened on the East Coast with the hurricane, and you got to help with some of that.
Exactly. I have a lot of experience being an emergency first responder. Last September, I was an emergency first responder for Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Harvey. And I've seen a lot of similarities in lack of preparedness with my recent support of Hurricane Florence in South Carolina and North Carolina.
So they know that this is coming, and it's unlike in Kansas where a tornado may come in the next couple of hours. They know for how long? A couple of weeks that this may be coming?
Well, yes, exactly. As the supercomputers get better and better, the predictability models that the weather channels and the military uses are more accurate. So with Hurricane Florence, they knew it about a week in advance. But the lack of preparedness from a lot of individuals put them in dire situations a few days leading up to the hurricane. But yes, the notification is way more in advance than it was 30 years ago.
Right. So when you say are they just not leaving in time, or are they leaving things behind that they needed? Because I could see, okay, I'm in a hurry and now I forgot my medication.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So there's things that will catch us all off guard, but I think a lot of it is just individuals not wanting to leave their home, and then this Hurricane Florence was called a 200-year storm. So it was a type of a storm that happens once every 200 years. But unfortunately, we had another one of those storms that happened 2 years ago. So these once in a century, once every 2 century storms, they're becoming more they're regular.
Right. So what are the things that they should be doing?
So some of the things that you should be doing once you get the notification that a storm is going to occur, you should if you have animals, definitely prepare, make accommodations for your animals, because if you have to evacuate and you have to leave your home state, most hotels are not going to take animals, or if you do find a hotel that has a vacancy, they might not have rooms available for animals because those rooms are in limited quantities. Also medications, like we talked about before. The pharmacies, the businesses are going to shut down.
Gasoline.
The gasoline. Food sources, foods that don't spoil, which is, you can find foods that don't spoil. They're pretty easy to acquire, but just taking that advance notice to go to the stores and purchase those items.
And figure out where you're going next.
Exactly. Figure out where you're going, making sure that your the relatives and your friends know where you're going, because oftentimes individuals will leave their home without a plan, and they're not really notifying anybody because their intention is to notify somebody once they get to their destination.
Right.
But if you have any problems from the time that you leave your residence to your destination, then that's where people get in problems.
Cheryl's over there with her loud music for some reason. She's not prepared for this show. We're talking about preparedness, and you're not prepared. Anyway, so let's say we know the storm's coming. The company that I work for has, that we know the storm's coming on Friday, and the company that I work for has decided everybody needs to leave on Wednesday, that we're no longer working on Wednesday. I need to start packing my dog, blankets, food, get a destination, call my friends, because sometimes cell towers don't work either.
Yes, exactly. Cell towers, your cell phone service becomes intermittent at best. So even if you have the best provider and you have the best cell phone and you have 4G, 5G service, that service is not going to be the same quality of service in the time of the storm, because some of those cell towers are not going to be working. Electricity is going to be sporadic. So if you come across a county that has no electricity at all, well, your cell phone service is going to be reliant upon electricity. So notifying individuals where you're going and the path that or the route that you're going to take is very important. But yeah, definitely that having that, not just the destination, but the highway that you're going to take and the path that you're going to take is important also.
Right, or at least an alternative. If I don't take I-135, then I'll be taking Highway 50.
Correct.
You know, so
Correct.
at least give them some type of notification. What else do we need to do? I mean, so let's say we had a storm here and we decided to go to Kansas City to get away from it. And then I have friends who live in Kansas City, but once I get there, my dog doesn't get along with their dog and I can't board the dog.
Yes. Making sure that you have a nest egg that you can rely on, because the expenses can be exorbitant. You might get lucky and everything might fall in place, but if you have to go to plan B, plan C, it's usually going to be more expensive.
Right. So what happens if you're a person who lives paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah,
Your paycheck's not there, your money didn't come in because it didn't get deposited into the account.
Yes. So my best advice for an individual that's living paycheck to paycheck, like many of us, is once you receive that advance notification, that's your best friend at that time. If you don't have a lot of resources, the advance notification is your early warning to get out of Dodge.
So is there a phone number that they could call, like 211, and say,
oh, yes,
I'm going to need some resources, where is the best place for me to go?
Exactly. So the FEMA and Red Cross, they have great apps. They tell you all the open FEMA shelters, the open Red Cross shelters. They tell you the capacity, how many individuals are in that shelter at this time, how many more the shelter can accommodate, and also where the food distribution points and water distribution points are at. Some of the other apps that are great to use is Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy will tell you which gas stations are open, the cost of fuel, so on and so forth. But yes, definitely now technology is phenomenal. There's a lot of useful apps, but the ones that I recommend
But your
using,
phone has to be working.
Yes, your phone has to. Exactly. That's true. That's true.
So that's some great information, whether you live, somewhere, and I can imagine like being on vacation and all of a sudden this happening to you and you're like, I don't know, I live in Kansas, we don't have hurricanes. But it's just some great information, but always have some food on hand that you can eat that doesn't require like a can opener or to be heated. I really like those cookies that are high protein.
Oh yeah, high protein cookies, protein bars,
Things like that.
high calorie, nutrient rich foods.
Well, if you have any more questions about this topic, give me a call or email me at LeAnna@leannabeef.com, and my phone number is 316-214-1121. Thanks.